Cubies and newbies, I am Sunshine, and this is the walkthrough for the ABCube method of solving Rubik's Cubes. Formula A is 4 moves, Formula B is 8 moves. They are all done by looking at the front of the cube as if you're looking at a spreadsheet of rows and columns. Some of these are not scrambled yet. Let me finish scrambling them. I have many different cubes to demonstrate that formula that the ABCube method works on every size Rubik's Cube. All you need is Formula A and Formula B. You don't have to memorize parity algorithms. You don't need to memorize any algorithms. You don't need to know that right is the parallel of left minus left prime. You don't have to know all of these things. You just have to look at what your cube looks like. Ask yourself a couple of questions, not questions. You can determine, you're not going to decide. And then Formula A and Formula B, move the pieces to where you want them to be. So, good morning. I'm gonna start. I love to dialogue more than I love to monologue. So please do feel free to talk to me. Formula A is 4 moves, Formula B is 8 moves. And you can see that there are mathematical zeros. Where there's a left, there's a right. Where there's an up, there's a down. So it does not mess up any of your cube except for what you want to change. So it doesn't matter whether you're doing the first 4 corners or the last 4 corners, whether that's the last step of everything, or it doesn't matter. It's all the same. So good morning. I'm going to start with corners. I start with corners because every cube has 8 corners. And so I treat all of my cubes the same. So we're going to start with the corners. Yellow is my favorite color. Actually, I start with yellow because all of the cubes that I have, yellow's not my favorite color, purple's my favorite color. But all the cubes that I have yellow on them, whereas some cubes have white, and some cubes have black stickers, and some cubes don't have purple, because like my void cube has purple. Cubes are not all standardized. So, but they all have a yellow with its opposite, either the white or the black, like this cube. And so on all of the cubes, I can start with yellow, and it will work fine. So I just start with yellow. You don't have to be color, you can be color neutral, that's just fine. But we're starting with yellow. So I pick a corner that has the yellow sticker. I hold it so that it's on top, because I picked that cube, and I'm going to make the rest of the cube match it. So I look at holding my yellow corner on top under my left thumb. Under my right thumb is the top front right corner, and I'm going to look and see, is there a yellow on this cube at all? And the answer is no. So I look underneath it to see if there's a yellow anywhere on this cube. And the answer here is yes, but if the answer is no, then I rotate the bottom a quarter turn until there is, because there's got to be a yellow to bring up, and it has to be either here or here. Then Formula A brings your color to the top. So looking at the front of my cube as rows and columns, I'm using the bottom row and the right column. So out, down, in, up. That brought my yellow to the top, but it's not on the top face yet, so I'm going to keep going. Out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. There it is. I'm only looking at the yellows. I'm only looking at the corners. And so when my yellow's on top here, under my right thumb, I slide it out of the way, give it to my left thumb, and I keep going. Is there a yellow somewhere here? No. Is there a yellow somewhere here? No. So I rotate the bottom quarter turn. Still no. Bottom quarter turn, yes. Okay, so whenever there's a yellow in one of these two places, Formula A will bring it to the top. And I keep doing Formula A until it is on the top face, not just the top row. Again, slide it out of the way to protect it. Keep going. I'm working on this piece. I'm only ever changing one corner at the top at a time. So no yellow here, no yellow there, no yellow there, there's a yellow there. So formula A will bring it to the top. And here's where I point out this is not the fastest, and it's not the shortest number of turns. I could have done the inverse of A and been there a lot faster, but I use this to teach complete non-cubers, complete beginners, so that I sidestep all of the terminology, all of the language of the cube, and with just A and B, they can solve any cube. So yellow's on top. Yay! Hooray! That's step one. Now we look for the other corners. Either all of the sides will match, none of them will match, or one of them will match. Because of the mathematics of the cube, that's the only way it can be. Either all of them, none of them, or one. So red does not equal green, but orange equals orange. You can see the others are not. So if one of them matches, then I hold that facing away from me. If all of them match, I just go to the next step and set it aside. But if none of them match, then it doesn't matter which way I hold it to begin with. I'm going to do formula B and A to bring the colors back to the top, and then one side will match and I'll know which way to hold it. So formula B again, you're looking at the front, you're using the top row, and you're using 2 columns. And when you're working with the corners, those are the outside columns. It doesn't matter, which on a 2x2 is all I have, but slide up, slide down, and I just moved 3 cubes around. So formula A will bring my yellow back to the top. Slide it out of the way to protect it. Work on this piece now. Slide it out of the way, protect it, work on this piece now. And now my first 4 corners are correct to each other. And it works on every cube the same way. Here's a yellow. So I look at this corner, and there's no yellow there, but there is one underneath it. So formula A, bottom row, right column, brings it to the top. Formula A only works on 1 cube at a time, so let's move that out of the way and work on this one now. There's no yellow here, no yellow here, so rotate the bottom by quarter turns until the answer is yes. And then formula A until the yellow is on the top face. Will never be more than 5 because 6 gets you back to where you started. Rotate the top. Keep going, no yellow there, so I rotate the quarter turn until the answer is yes. There it is. I can put formula A and B on a keychain, and that's all you need to take with you to memorize. There we go. Yellow's on top, check the sides, no, yes. So that goes away. Do formula B, up, down, and you'll notice formula B it's a commutator because for every left there's a right, for every up there's a down. It's a mathematical 0 if you look at it, which shows me which means that it only moves the 3 pieces that I'm trying to move. It doesn't move the rest. So if the rest of the cube is solved, then you haven't messed it up. If the rest of the cube is not solved, it remains in the same state of not solved. So yellow's on top on all 4 corners. Yellow's on top on all 4 corners here. It works the same on everything. Here's a yellow. Yellow is here, so I can do formula A. Okay, yellow is on top. Move it out of the way to protect it. Keep going. There's no yellow here, but there's a yellow here. So formula A. Out, down, in, up. Out, down, in, up until yellow's on top. Rotate it out of the way. Work on this cube now. No yellow. Slide the bottom quarter turns until the answer is yes. Out, down, in, up. There we go. Yellow's on top on all 4 sides. Check the sides. Red does not equal orange. The blue matches, so the blue goes away from me. Formula B, top row, outside columns. Up, down, and that moved 3 cubes around. This one stayed where it was. I'm going to move the yellow back to the top, and when I do, all of the first 4 corners will be correct to each other. Rotate the top to protect it. Work on this cube. First 4 corners are correct to each other, and it works the same on every cube because they all have corners, and that's why. So I'm doing the corners first. Once again, yellow. Oh, this one, the yellows are already on top of each other, so I can move on to the next step, which is looking at the sides, and they already match each other. So this one is complete. So these ones all have the first 4 corners correct to each other. Let's see if I have any newbies now. Good morning, those of you who just joined us. I am Sunshine, and I am demonstrating the ABCube method for solving Rubik's Cubes. This is my method. I came up with it, and you can find it. It's a page describing it on ABCube on speedsolver.com. ABCube.how is me. Sorry for the typo there. So the first 4 corners are now correct to each other on each of these cubes. I demonstrate with all of the cubes at the same time because this method works on all of the cubes. And you don't have to memorize any algorithms. The formula A is only 4 moves. It's really easy. It's used just for the corners and the edges, and B is all you do for everything else. Do it so often it's easy to memorize. I literally... Everyone asks me what my speed is on a cube. On a 3x3, I've only started timing myself since I've gotten the ABCube, or the Go Cube, and it has its own timer, so that's when I've started timing myself. But I have been cubing off and on since the early 80s when the cube came out. But when I teach someone in real life, or over the phone or over the internet, it takes me 2 hours, 2 sessions. So between 2 1-hour sessions. So between an hour and a half to 2 hours is all it is. I teach them, and at the end of those sessions, they can pick up any cube. They are comfortable picking up any cube, knowing that they can solve it. So this is not a speed solving method, but if you're just learning, it can help you. It can help you get a more intuitive feel, because with your speed solving, the more you can do intuitively, the faster your cubing is. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. But also, if you can use this method just to solve your cube, so then you can practice your algorithm from a solved cube rather than from a scrambled cube, so you can see exactly what that algorithm is doing, and so that you can understand why it works. So this is for people like me who I don't speed. I'm not interested in speeding. For me, this is the cube is very calming and therapeutic and meditative for me. Whenever I just need to get out of my head, I just pick up the cube and I do A and B, and it's fun. So first 4 corners are correct to each other. So you put those face down, and you work on the second 4 corners. Now on all of these cubes, they're standardized colors. So opposite yellow is white, and just verify that there is a white on all of these corners. If you're working on my void cube, however, opposite of yellow is red. So whatever is opposite yellow, you determine what's opposite yellow, and that's your second color. So this one's yellow, this one's white, so I'm going to leave that there. This one's white, I'm going to leave that there. Okay, so I'm going to start with a cube under my right thumb in the top front right position that needs to be rotated, needs to be flipped, twisted. So you can see that my yellow is already done, but as I do formula A, I'm going to just ignore my yellow and trust it to take care of itself. So formula A to bring in until my white is on the top face. So out, down, in, up, out, down, in, up. Keep going until the white is on top. Stop, pause, rotate the top. I don't want to twist this anymore, but I do want to keep twisting, so I move that out of the way, protect it with my left thumb. I'm going to work on this, continue my Formula A with this cube. Out, down, and up, out, down, and up. Now, because of the mathematics of the cube, doing this step, bringing your your chosen color to the top, is always going to be a multiple of 6, because that's just the mathematics of the cube, unless you've twisted a corner, in which case you can't solve it without untwisting it. So in working with my second 4 corners, my first 4 corners resolved themselves, so I just leave them alone to take care of themselves. Next step was to match the corners. Blue matches, the others do not, so it goes away from me. And Formula B, up, up, down, down. B always moves 3 pieces. In this case, it's these 3 corners. And when I move the Formula A to bring your color back to the top, the yellow gets really excited, but it resolves itself. So the first 4 corners are still correct to each other. The second 4 corners are correct to each other. All I have to do now is rotate the top row until the top and bottom are correct to each other. And then boom, all 8 corners are correct to each other. So for on this one it's solved, but for the other ones, doing that is going to, the corners will dictate what sides are, what the colors are going to be on the sides, on all of the faces. So this one's correct, this one needs to be flipped. Out, down, in, up, Formula A. It's on top, rotate it out of the way to protect it, and continue my cycle of A's on this cube. And when white is on top on all 4 corners, my yellows are again stable. Check out the colors. Blue does not equal green, red does not equal orange. Here's an example where, like I said, either all sides match, none of them, or one of them. This side's none of the sides match, which means doesn't matter how I solve it to begin with, how I hold it to do my Formula B. I'm going to do Formula B and then A to bring it back to the top. And having moved 3 of these pieces around, now I will have one side. Then I will have one side that matches. So up, up, down, down, and then Formula A to bring the pieces back to the top. That's up, slide it out of the way, keep going on this one. On top, slide it out of the way, keep going. And yellow is still stable. And the white's on top on all 4 corners. And this time when I look at it, one side will match. So then holding that away, do Formula B again. When it's on top, slide it out of the way to protect it. Keep going on this one. Okay, and now my yellow is still stable. My first 4 corners are stable. My second are correct to each other, and the top and bottom are correct to each other. So these 8 corners are correct to each other. How's everybody doing this morning? You guys have a fun weekend? So it's the same with these ones, just the same thing. I put the yellow face down and I work on the whites. So whether the first 4 corners are done exactly the same way as the second 4 corners, and all you need is A and B to do it. And I could continue here, but I want to move on to a couple of other things. I could continue. It's the exact same thing. If anyone has questions, I will keep demonstrating. Otherwise, I'm going to move on a little bit to say that A and B is all you need, because for the first A, like I said, we'll bring a color to the top. Here's an example. Here's a white that wants to be on the top. Now, because only corners are done, I can just go like that and put it up there. But if there's edges I don't want to misplace, you can do it with Formula A. This is the piece I'm applying it to. It's going to end up here, so I move this piece away. I move the space down. I move the cube into the space, and the cube in the space back up again. So formula A works for corners and the absolute centers. You can do it for the entire first row, first face, but if you can't do it for the second face, so I don't even teach it. So and then if you once the corners are done, then you can switch up formula B a little bit. It's still top row, 2 columns, but if those 2 columns are the outside columns, then it moves corners, because that's what the mathematics of the cube dictates. But if you use an outside row and an inside row, either inside row, doesn't matter, but an outside row and any inside row, it's going to be moving edges. The edges, the cube itself dictates which columns you're going to be using. So, for example, this piece. I hold my cube yellow and white, left and right. I'm looking for yellow or white. I line up the corners so that they match the front color, and I determine it's going in the white direction, which is this way, not the yellow direction, which is this way. And so this top row is still the top row, and my 2 columns are going to be where it's going to end up, which is my first column, and where it begins, which is my second column. So if I do formula B with this column and this column, watch my piece here. This piece is going to go over here. So slide up, slide down, and this piece is placed, and I keep doing that for any yellow or white that's in the middle, and just tossing them in the direction that they need. And then I will displace them one at a time to do the side edges as well. But it's still formula B, up, up, down, down. And then if you do if your 2 columns are 2 center columns, let's say for example this is the piece that I want to move up to the top. The first row I would line it up to where that's going to land in a piece that wants to come down, wherever that is. And then this is my first column up. I rotate so that this is in a separate column, either direction. If it's a diagonal, you have to be careful. But if it's any floating center, you just have to move it to a second section. Up, down, down. Now it looks like it moved 2 pieces, but it moved 3. Let me demonstrate again. I'm going to move this piece up. I rotate the top so that it lands in the piece that it's okay to bring down. Up, slide to a different column, second up, reverse, down, reverse, down. My marker fell off. That's okay. So formula A brings your color to the top. Formula B moves 3 pieces around, dictated by the piece that you want to move. Where it's going to land and where it begins are the 2 columns. Now I want to move on to, I can keep going, but I want to move on to some pretty patterns. Because it's fun for me. So on Mondays typically on Mondays I do corners. If you come back, I'll do the edges tomorrow. So come back. But I want to show. I have 2 of my favorite patterns. I like them because they're mine. I created them. The first one I call softball, but it's done using formula B 7 times. So I'm going to demonstrate. Let's see. So hold the cube again. Formula B. Rotate the top up, back up, out, down, back down, and then slide the top up. Slide the top once, and keep doing formula B again. And I just undo that with my first step of the B, but that's okay. Another B. Rotate the top. Okay. So it looks kind of like that. Then you turn the cube upside down and a quarter turn, and do formula B again for the corners. Rotate the top and then do formula B again. rotate the top. Okay. Now, so that's for B for the two corners. Bring your left side bottom to the top, bottom to the front, into formula B for edges this time. Up, up, down, down, and then lower your B back to the bottom. Lower your left back to the bottom. Now this one piece that looks incorrect, I'm going to rotate my cube upside down and a quarter turn so that that piece becomes on the bottom of my left side. I bring that to the front and I do two more formula B's for edges. Up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down, and then lower it. And we have what I call softball, because you've got, it's as if you've got two pieces of cloth mended together. You've got the red, orange, yellow side cloth here, the stripes, 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 but they're all red, orange, yellow. And then the other side you've got the green, blue, and white or black, whatever, but there's three colors together. So if you take these two pieces of cloth and put them together like so, it's sewn together like a softball. And so you undo it the exact same way you did it. It's the same pattern will solve it or unsolve it. So line up your stripes are going over the top, not to the side. And I'm going to do again formula B, up, up, down, down, rotate the top, and then undo it as the first step of my second formula B. Rotate the top. Then upside down and sideways. Formula B again. Down. Slide the top. Undo it with the formula B, first row for formula B again. Slide the top. Left side up. Formula B first for edges. Down, down. Lower my left side. Bring this side upside down and sideways so that it's in the same bottom position here. Bring your left up. Two more formula B's. That's one. That's two. Lower the left side and you're back to a solved. So that's fun. That one's called softball. And this one, call it dice. Okay, if you guys know how to do the super flip, where you go up, side, up, side, up, side, up, and then you rotate the cube around this corner, and up, 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 and then you rotate around this corner, and then you rotate around the corner. I don't know. Anyway, but rotating around that corner is what I wanted to point out that we're doing, because that's what we're doing for this one. So, watch what I do. I'm moving the center pieces away, and again, moving inward. Then I rotate around this corner, and do the same thing coming back to me. 3. Flip it again. Away, flip it again, toward, flip it again, away, flip it again, toward, and when it gets back to then you have, if you look at three pieces, it resembles a cube, a dice, resembles a dice. So we've got 6 here, 5 here, 3 here. Of course, you only have 2 6s, 2 5s, and 2 3s, but it resembles a dice when you're only looking at 3 sides. And of course, they're not lined up equal to a regular dice, but it's a facsimile of a dice. So that's my pattern. That's a pattern that I like to do. Now, who wants to play with me? Who wants to talk to me? All right, so I will go ahead These 8 corners are done. These 8 corners are done. I'm going to go ahead and finish these just because I can. So the yellow is face down and working with the white. On this one, the whites are already on top. So I check the sides, and the green side matches, so it goes away. Back to Formula B to work on the sides, the edges again. Up, up, down, down, and A to bring your color back to the top. Slide to protect it, keep going. Slide to the top to protect it, keep going. And now the white's on top, corners match. Rotate the top so that the top corners match the bottom corners, and these 8 corners are now correct to each other. So these 8 corners are all correct to each other. Let's do this one. Okay, my yellows, I already said, match are correct to each other, so it goes face down. Oh, look at this. These ones already have. I must have already done this one. Okay, so these 8 corners are correct to each other as well. So all of these have 8 corners correct to each other. And the next step for all of them would be to start doing the opposite edges. In which, because I've been looking at whites and yellows, my eyes are trained to look for the whites and yellows. So I hold the white cube so that yellow and white are left and right. This one's done. And with yellow and white as dictated by the corners, then I find a piece that's incorrect, that has a yellow or white on it, line it up to the corners to match the front, determine its direction, and then Formula B for edges. We'll place that, and you keep doing that for as long as you see a white or yellow in the middle. That's it. That's lesson number 1 for the corners. Hope you guys all had a fun weekend. Hope you guys are going to have a great day today. Go be kind to yourself. And I will see you. I'll be back here tomorrow morning. So you guys all have fun. Bye.